Good afternoon, my villagers. Another great day in the village, y'all. Now, I know you're asking, how can you say that with all the chaos across the nation? Trump and his goons are running havoc on this nation. Well, that's why it is so important, to know our history. And if you don't need to be a historian either, you just need to be someone who has heard of or read about the evolution of this universe. Then you will know that when God created this great space we call the universe, the black man, was her first creation. Therefore, regardless to the attempt to destroy us, we ain't going nowhere, Now, there will be trials and tribulations, as my elders would say, but we as a people will survive and thrive. We always have and always will. But let me right now, before I go any further, thank my team here, Sheila, my producer, and Juanita, my advisor, and my promo crew, Elijah, Halim, Chloe, Chastity. And I want to thank my co-host who's on her way. She got stuck in traffic somewhere. There's something happening out there. Both my co-host and my guests are a little bit delayed. They're somewhere out there in traffic, and we're praying that all is well, and they will get here on time. But for right now, we'll go on until they come. Because, I told you all, I remind my villagers and myself that when I started this podcast some 2.5 years ago, I was laser focused, you all knew I was, on the restoration of ourselves to who we really were prior to 1619. Prior to the enslavement, the human trafficking, genocide, sort of like a virus that hit us. See, I coined the phrase African Slave Virus 401, meaning that we need a cure for what ails us. We were stolen, we were abused, we were stripped of all things precious to us. And still today we are suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome. But yet we're still standing, Doesn't mean we're not damaged, just mean that maybe something about the melanin in our DNA that no one else has. Just saying now. See, I'm the amateur, needing an expert in Africanism to qualify such assumption. And when we all learn that, we will appreciate and see each other differently. So that was my sole purpose when I initially came aboard in launching this podcast. But now, as I explained before, with this new sheriff in town, the Orange Man, some call him, we have to tap into our survival mode. What I call walk and chew gum at the same time. I find myself using examples. I use metaphors. I use analogies a lot to get my point across. Because actually, when you have been asleep on situations, it might just take giving examples to awaken us. Well, I've been awakened. I've been given examples of how we as a people have managed to walk and chew gum at the same time. I say that because I'm trying to introduce a new approach to what I'm trying to do. In addition to the one approach, I have a two-pronged situation going. I forgot. I didn't forget. I hesitated. I want to thank my engineer here, this great brother. I tell you, he has encouraged me this month. We've gone through some serious stuff with the storms that came in. But in addition to what we always say, that we are laser focused on the restoration of ourselves to who we really were prior to 1619. But we also now, with the new sheriff in town, got to come on with what the great brother, the ancestor Joe Madison said, what you gonna do about it? So in addition to the maintaining of ourselves as normal, we got to continue to put forth effort to correct what we see now. And one of the encouraging things that happened this month to me, I'm talking about this brother Norm, my engineer here. Not only is he the engineer, he's the owner of this establishment. He's been doing it for about 15 years or more. And in addition to that, he is the DJ about town. He's called DJ Storm Norm the General. And he is just that, I tell you. And that is not all Mr. Norm does. He just manifests himself in so many different ways. He encouraged me because I'm trying to promote the idea that, as always, as we do things, we're multi-talented, multifaceted people. We've always managed to chew gum and walk at the same time. Even in slavery, think about it. Much of what was created while going through slavery, while tending to the farms and tending to the home and satisfying the needs of the folks, we were creating music, jazz, blues, country, gospel, spiritual. We were doing that. In addition, most of the inventions that you find come through this country from the 400 years that we've been here was done by us. Some were given credit to us, but most weren't even given credit. But they were still done while we were still under the gun. So we've always managed to walk and chew gum at the same time, if you will. That's just who we are. That's who we are going to continue to be. And as I said before, I'm just getting back to the brother here, Norm. He is he's the owner of this place. He has the podcasters that I've been trying to shadow this month. I call it the Podcasters Month. Now this month, the month of August, it is already a recognized month for a commemoration of black our heroes, those who have gone on before us and those who are still here but are doing things. But in addition to that, I thought it was appropriate for me to bring in this month to show that we are still walking and chewing gum at the same time, although I still think that the most important thing about us is to restore ourselves to our greatness before, this, what I call the slave virus, came upon us in 1619. But this young man I'm talking about, Ron, I was so impressed when this storm came in here in Plainfield and North Plain, New Jersey, and throughout New Jersey, but particularly those areas. Came in a couple of, weeks ago? July 3rd, I think it started. Because at that time, Brother Norm I call him King Norm, he had started, he had put together a great, something that was bringing in great stars across the country. I know he had this group, the Jones Girl from Atlanta. They were on their way, and this storm came through, and he just kept on that, what they say, the whatever kicking that battery just kept on kicking. And he continued what he had started. We got the storm in, and it just hit unexpectedly. And he had his entertainers coming in from across the country, and he just moved it in the way only Norm could move it. But that next week, back to back, there was another storm that came through. And this brother, he didn't hesitate. I looked around, and he was also planning something for that weekend, but the storm came back. But when I looked around, he had established, along with the city of Plainfield, this fundraiser. He put together a fundraiser for those who were affected by the storm. And they raised over $100,000 within a 2 to 3 day period. at the Plainfield High School. But I'm emphasizing that to show you that that's how we do things. We've always managed to walk and chew gum at the same time. So when I initially started this podcast and was laser focused on just restoring our mind, it brought me back even to the realization that we can chew gum, walk and chew gum at the same time. We multitask all the time. We've done it since slavery. We even done it, I imagine, back in the day when we were building the pyramids, other things was going on, and we took care of that too. So what I'm saying to you is we can do all things through God that strengthens us. So we're going to continue to move forward in that direction. Because we're still standing. Doesn't mean, again, like I said, we're not damaged. So yes, we are. But it means that there's something that the melanin in our skin, I'm going to attribute it to, that kind of allows us to move forward where other people may not be able to see, you know. So I, again, when I called this program, Unapologetic Amateur Looking for Experts in Africanism, that's what I'm referring to. As an amateur, I'm looking for those folks who can restore us. I may know how to identify, doesn't mean I know how to execute it. So to qualify, we will have to do that. We will then appreciate and see each other differently, as I said. So that's my sole purpose in launching this podcast. Okay. But what we're going to, I've been giving examples of how we as people have managed to walk and chew gum at the same time. And this month, as I said before, this season has reaffirmed that for me, how we can move through tragedies and never break a sweat. That's why I'm dedicating this month. That's why I dedicated this month, August, to showcase that effort. Now, this month is already a commemoration, as I said, of our past heroes and events, but I wanted to show the resilience of the local people, and that's why I brought that information to you about the brother here, Norm. So, another great day in the village, though. I know, you know, I'm always depending on my villagers to stay focused on how we can get through this period, how we can get through. We are still suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome, but we're going to make it. And my co-host, Rose, I want to give her kudos too because she's been just so faithful. But she's stuck in traffic also. So my guest was stuck in traffic, and I said, well, you all may have been in the same area because she was in South Plainfield, and she's still trying to make it here, you know. But in the meantime, we're just going to move on without her. But I just want to express how we as a people have managed to go through all the things that we're going through, because I know for a fact that many of us are stressed out. You know, no doubt about it. We need to admit that and deal with it. As my pastor, Dr. Quick from First Baptist Church of Lincoln Garden always said, we just still got to move on, but that does not mean we can't deal with the matter at hand. So when we are looking for answers, we're looking for direction, we got to know we have it within ourselves. We got to always know that. It is there. That's all that's still there. You know, and but when we were faced with those catastrophes, you know, we made it through. The country, the faith, you know, and I'm just going to, I see my guest has arrived. I'm just so excited about her, but I want to talk about how this month has started out. We started our first show. I had Brother Norm on because he is the head of this establishment. I wanted him to come on to express himself, to show how he began, what happened with him. He's been doing this for like 15 years, and I mean, he hasn't missed a beat. He's still working it. He has a array of podcasters, you know, from every ilk. They're doing things. And the second week, I had Brother Terry Benjamin and Brother Ron Crayon. These beautiful guys, they have a podcast called, what is it called? Poetically Speaking. We got to have poetry, you know. That's part of what we do. That's part of our nature, you know. And so this week, I have one of my guests that I called, um, first of all, called her my daughter by another mother. She is such a fabulous young lady that she's been doing it for a while. You wouldn't expect it if when you see her, you're going to say, whoa, she just got here. But she has been doing it. I've known this young lady, like I say, I call her my daughter by another mother. But she is quite an entrepreneur, and she has been in the business for some time. I knew her, well, I've known her, but business-wise, she's an entrepreneur, serious entrepreneur. And so when she had a show here, this podcast, along with Brother King Norm, some years back, and she brought me on, and she wanted me to come on, and I became her, what was that, Audie? I became her author in residence or something like that. But I'm just going to read her bio here, just to show you what this young lady's been doing. Said Monique Harrell. Born and raised in Elizabeth, New Jersey, is a multi-talented entrepreneur, developer, builder, and creative force with over 28 years in the beauty industry. She's coined 5 salons, graced the modeling world, and inspired audience as a motivational speaker, a storyteller at heart. She wrote the stage play, The Shop. That's the one I was in. Those folks are still seeing me in Plainfield now. I say, Ma Ruby, that was, And also an author, the Life Skills Guide, Forgotten Pieces, and that's the one we're going to be talking about today because I want to know more about that. Today, Monique is breaking barriers as one of the few women developers and builders in New Jersey, leading Singleton Builders in modular home construction. Starting August 28th, you can catch her every Thursday from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as host of the new podcast, Mind the Business That Pays You. Now, I don't know about that, too, on BKS1 Radio. Welcome, my child. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is such a pleasure, such an honor to see you here today. What say you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. I understand you was, first of all, to explain to us about that traffic. I don't know what's going on out there.
I don't know, but the turnpike and through South Plainfield is pretty backed up. I kind of went the back roads.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where my co-host right now is in South Plainfield. That's why she's not here, can't get through. Yeah. But you got here, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
That's a good thing. So how have you been?
Good, good. Can't complain.
Good.
Got married.
Yes, I know that.
grandchild.
Right? Oh, all those beautiful things are happening to you. Well, you deserve everything.
Thank you.
I see where on your bio, well, I know that for a fact, you were born and raised in Elizabeth. Now, when I came up from Florida, I'm a Floridian, and when my folk came up from Florida, we came to Elizabeth. So you weren't even born at that time. But but anyway, just tell me a little about your history of Elizabeth before I go any further. You from Baton, right?
Yeah, well, no, actually, I was with the Gifted and Talented program in Elizabeth, so I really didn't attend Baton. The Gifted and Talented, we went to the high school or either, whatever school it was the entire year.
Right.
So we didn't, how they used to switch, like one marking period they was here, then they went back to their home school.
Right.
Well, Elizabeth High was our home school.
Oh, okay.
So we stayed there all year round, so we got to meet the kids from everywhere for 4 marking periods, but everybody else only got to meet the kids from the marking period that they were there.
Oh, okay.
So they
yeah.
used to tease us though, because we had to ride the yellow bus there. We
okay.
started at school 22. They was like, oh, they're they're slow or whatever, but they didn't know that we were the smart kids.
Really?
That's why we got bused to school 22, and then we continued until we graduated.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Now you became an entrepreneur very early because your shows where you say you had all these salons.
Yes.
What made you go that route instead of just maybe going on the teacher or wherever the case may be? You always had the entrepreneurial spirit in you.
Well, what happened was, as a kid, I was the oldest of
Mm-hmm.
six kids that my mom had. So,
Mm-hmm.
the oldest, you're always in charge, you're the boss, you have to, take care of everybody.
Right.
So, what I started doing was I started braiding here on the porch.
Okay.
So, from there, I was a braider. Then we started forming some clubs, and I already knew that I wanted to do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I became older and graduated, that's when I did go to college, though. I went to Hampton University.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I went there for business and radio communication.
Right.
So that worked out well. Then I said, I don't think I want to stay in this college life too long.
Uh-huh.
So I went to, Wilford Academy
Okay.
in Newark.
Uh-huh.
And got my hair license. And after that, I said, well, I could be a hairstylist. I actually started working for Carlin in
Okay.
Linden.
Uh-huh.
That was my first job that I got as a hairstylist. She
Mhm.
actually hired me over the phone.
Okay.
I gave her an interview. She was like, okay, you're hired. I was like, I'm hired. Oh, my gosh. So went there.
Very
started
impressive,
working for
yeah.
her,
Mhm.
And then I just started opening up 5 hair salons.
Yeah, yeah. And so you had 5, and you're not doing that now. So what persuaded you, or what happened that you left that position or that part of your
career.
entrepreneurship to go
Yeah.
someplace else?
Well,
And where did you go?
Well, actually, I after the hair salon business, I actually worked for Dow Washington as well. I moved from Carlin to there in East Orange. That's where I did most of my cosmetologist career at. So after that, what I noticed was I like to make money, but all money is not good to me. And my daughter, I felt like I had so many hours that I worked in the hair salon that I needed to figure out something else that I like to do just as much as cosmetology. So my other thing was real estate. Now, I always used to beat everybody in Monopoly when I was a kid.
Okay.
I buy up all of the 4 houses and then I build a hotel.
Uh-huh.
So I said it's between the two. So after the cosmetology thing started taking up so much time from, like, I'm a mom that want to be with her child.
Right.
So I would want to go to all her things. It was kind of a little difficult. So I said, well, I did this for about 20 years. So now let me go into my next career choice, which would have been real estate. So then I started doing real estate.
Isn't that interesting? Now, last I heard about you, you were doing housing too, and that is unique for any woman, but particularly a black woman. So give me some history around that. What took you there?
Well, in between switching careers from the cosmetology to the real estate, I then wrote the book because I noticed a lot of kids like her age in high school, everybody wasn't fortunate enough to live with their parents or have any coaching from an adult. So I said, well, let me write the life skills guides. So I wrote the life skills guides in order to help teens and with parents or without, who moms or parents have to work a lot like myself,
Right.
to help guide them into banking, how to do finance, how to open up a bank account, how to go to a mechanic and ask the proper questions. So I wrote the life skills book for that reason. It was mainly because of my daughter.
Oh,
And I thought
okay.
maybe, other kids need a help who like her didn't have parents. So after I did that, I said, okay, the book is great. That's a lot of work, as you know, as an author. That's a lot of work. You got to do a lot of book signings and stuff, and that was great. So then I said, well, I'm in the salon business. Let me do a play. So that's when I did the shop, which you were a part
right,
of.
right.
So we did the shop. I said, I got to
And I must say, not because I was a part, but it was an excellent play.
Yes, it was awesome, right?
Yeah.
The thing with the play, you need people, sponsors.
Yeah.
You need to travel around. As you saw, it was kind of hard for me to do all the bookings and, move the play around properly.
Right.
Then people want to get paid. So it kind of, again, got a little difficult. So then I said, okay, I'm going to put my foot stamp on this real estate. And you know how you up late at night, like 3 in the morning, and you watching the all those type of shows.
Shows, right.
So I ran across Carlton Sheets.
Okay.
And I said, how are they saying you're going to do real estate with no money? So me, I'm like, well, let me order it so that I could see how this works. So I ordered it. Lo and behold, I started out like that. It was called investing, a way that you invest where you're the middle person. But everyone has to know what you're doing. You find the property, they sell it to you for one price, and you can resell it for another price.
Okay.
So I learned how to do that, and my first deal, it would have went good, and it ended up going well. But I kind of didn't know how to do the paperwork properly.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's all the learning process,
it's
you know.
all the learning process. So it was a Jewish guy that I was getting the house from. He was the A buyer, as you call him. And when we got to the closing, the way I did it, I should have made like 28,000 or 30. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. But I was gonna be negative because I didn't do the paperwork correctly. So I know how to do it now.
Oh,
So
also learning lessons.
He was so nice and good about it because he had a first-time experience as well. He allowed me right then at the title company to redo the paperwork correctly. He signed it, I signed it, and I was able to make the money that I was supposed to make.
Oh, now what a blessing.
And I thought that was a blessing
Oh,
because
it
he could have
was.
said, well,
Yeah.
that's your fault.
Isn't that
Abraham was his name.
Okay.
They probably, a lot of them are probably named Abraham. So
Yeah.
that's how I learned how to do my first deal in real estate.
Right,
And
right.
I just kept learning and learning and learning from there.
Yeah. Well, see, you learn from your mistake, and your book was provided to keep the other folk, particularly young folk, from
Correct.
making mistakes. So that's the good thing. You had shared your experience, what your experience was in that book.
Yeah.
And I never got a chance because I've been so, I don't know, not necessarily busy because I still read. But I'm going to get that. But you didn't bring the book with you because I would like to promote that book so people can get it because our young people do need some guidance even like today. One of the things that we established here at my podcast is a segment for our young people. At some point, I may want you to come back and share your thoughts with them. They are off for the summer, but we'll be coming back in the beginning of September. And what it is from a homeschool that I established before Lula, my sister who made her transition this year. We had established a homeschool, and that was out of sort of a deer for this crazy man down in Florida, the governor Sanchez, when he made that stupid statement about they brought slaves over here to teach them something. So I realized then that a lot of our people didn't know their history and could have fallen for it, and I certainly didn't want our children. And since they're taking all the stuff out of the school, their history, we decided we established the homeschooling for the kids. And when we did, that was that sort of a direct result for him making that statement. We wanted to make sure that our children, which I'm advising other black parents, and a lot of them do, but the ones who feel they don't have an outlet for teaching the kids their history because they're taking the schools out of the books all out of the libraries and the schools. Just get some together. We've got about 7 or 8 that come once a week for about an hour. They're all for the summer. What we do, we're teaching them their history. We're teaching the history that they never had. And what I've done here at the podcast is to further that is to bring them in like once a month. And if for those who may not know, they do have a spot on once a month, the end of the month, the last Monday in the month. They come on and show us what they have learned, and they have learned a lot. So in spite of what is society trying to do with us, take our history, not let us know who we are, we're determined that our children, because they are the future, going to know who they are. And with what you're doing, see, like I say, the great ancestor Joe Madison always said, what you going to do about it? See, and what you had thought to do when you wrote that book, you knew that what was needed, and you felt the need that you needed to put it in books so they will understand how to move forward in certain situations, which is a great thing. Now, I'm very excited when I saw that you were doing places of buildings in Atlantic City in the way. So give me some information about how that's been and what you're still doing about that.
After I decided with I was going to get into the real estate field, as you know me, I'm going to dive all the way in. I'm not going to learn one aspect. I'm going to try to learn everything possible. So once I learned how to do the the wholesaling of it, I said, okay, I'm gonna try fix and flips. Then I tried buy and hold. And then I said, well, you know what? I might as well just become a builder.
Yeah.
So at that point, I put in on my
you
paperwork.
might as well become a builder.
Yeah,
Right? Oh my
so because I
goodness,
like
Monique.
building houses, I saw that I can gut them out and rehab them. I like remodeling them, and I like staging them. So I said, well, might as well become a builder. So at that point, I pushed forward, put my sights on that and my goals, became a builder. And then in Atlantic City, what you see is it was a lot out there. We saw a lot of space to put a new construction. So my company, Singleton Builders, we do modular homes.
Okay.
Modulars are the same as stick built, only they're quicker. And they're built inside, and we bring them to the location opposed to being built outside.
Right, right.
So that was the first house you saw me do
Yeah.
in Atlantic City.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I tell you, you're quite a lady. You're quite an entrepreneur. You just do it so effortlessly.
It's a lot. I don't want people to think it's not hardship in
No.
between there, because it is. It's a lot of hardship. You have to do the foundation. You have to get permits.
Right.
You have to deal with municipalities.
Right.
All of them are not helpful. Some of them are, depending on where you're going. But once you can get past all of that, and you have created the spec home inside of the modular location where they are built,
Right.
and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
You
it
gotta
seems,
bring
I
'em
know,
over.
I watch you, and you look like you be having real fun along with
Yeah.
this serious business.
Yeah, it's
You know,
serious
and that's the
business.
important thing. You know, don't just do
Yeah.
something just because you think you have to, but to make it fun, make it.
It's real serious
Yeah,
business. Like you
yeah.
can mess up. You could lose your shirt in it.
Yeah, yeah.
You could do properties that don't sell as quickly. So I don't want everybody to think, oh, she's having fun.
Right,
And,
right.
it's
yeah.
just so simple, and
No,
it's really
no,
not.
it's a
It's
tough.
not that
It's
hard,
a tough
but-
business in the first place,
Yes,
and
it
it's
is.
particularly tough for black women. For any
Yes.
woman, matter of fact, but for
Yes.
black women, it's particularly tough. So ain't
It
nothing,
is.
nothing. I don't know a thing about it, but I know that it's
Yeah,
not
And
easy.
you're absolutely correct,
Mm-hmm.
because when I go places sometime and I'm calling, they're like, so who's the owner? I'm like, I am. They're like, no, who's the real owner?
You're right.
Are you like the receptionist? And I'm like, no, I'm the real
Isn't
owner.
that
So they're like,
something?
oh, I apologize. It's just that sometimes, people get confused with the question.
Yeah.
I'm not confused
Not
with the
confused.
question.
We
Yeah,
know it.
even when I go to Home Depot, you could stand in the line for contractors.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in the line, I don't have like my other contractors the vendor contractors that I hire in line with me, and I'm there. They'll say, excuse me, miss, you're in the wrong line, like customers. And I
Isn't that
say, no,
interesting?
I'm in the right line. No, this is for the pro desk. Yeah, that's me. I'm a contractor. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. I just thought you was in the wrong line.
Yeah, well,
No,
you thought
I'm
wrong,
not.
right?
No, I'm in the right line.
That is interesting. Now I'm going to ask you about your new venture. I see where you're coming back to podcasting, and that's so interesting because you had such a great. You had really, not just because I was with you,
Right,
but it
right.
was as people talked about it, how inspiring, and it was just so interesting. And so, what are you talking about now? What are you doing? What are we going to look forward to now?
Well, this podcast is called Mind the Business That Pays You.
I
It's
thought it was quite an intro.
It's a beauty and lifestyle and real estate podcast to empower people about real estate investing, beauty, fashion, and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that a lot.
Yeah, well, you certainly got the skills and know how to talk about it. So when is it coming on, and what are the hours? And
Okay, I have 3 co-hosts along with myself. I have April Kodge, I have Jill Mabel Beecham, and I have Rochelle Gray. Those
Okay.
are going to be my 3 co-hosts along with myself. Then I have my cousin Cheryl Wakia Lewis. She's going to bring information how she did before.
how she did before. She's
Yes.
quite an entrepreneur herself.
Yes, she is. She's going to give people some insight on taking care of different, if it's your spouse or your parent or whomever
Right.
that may have illnesses that, it gets pretty challenging
Right,
to
right.
work and do things like this. So she's going to give a little insight on that. She'll be coming on for a segment.
Okay.
We're going to be here.
I'm going to look forward to that because she was excellent before. I remember. I
She
sure
brings
do.
a lot to the table.
She
with
does, yeah.
Definitely helping out and keeping everything organized.
Right.
And we're going to come here,
Yeah.
BKS1 Radio TV.
You're great. Welcome aboard. I tell you, this young man, I never get enough. He just said, I'm just admired by his stamina. First of
Right,
all,
right,
well, he's young enough, but I mean, and just that what he has put forth here in Plainfield.
Yes,
and
I've
he's been
seen.
doing it for 15 years and or more.
Right.
And that's just so amazing. I'm just so pleased
Yes.
with that. Now, what I've established on this podcast here, I have 3 segments. I have a segment where, because I think it's extremely important, as I said before, I do believe there got to be a restoration of our minds of what we were before 400 years ago.
Right.
Because we can't place ourselves beyond that, then we'll think we are who we see. And who we see may not always be what we want.
Right.
Because what we see, we can't look beyond our circumstances. And our circumstances show us that we're behind in education, wealth, and health. So if we're behind, somebody got to ask the question, why? And I know a lot of my people, because I was talking to a young man yesterday, and he saw all the negative, and which is understandable, because if you don't know, you just don't know.
Right.
As I said to before, that I coined the phrase of what we went through 400 years ago as a virus. I want everybody to look at it as if it was a virus. So when that virus came in, we had no doubt about who could handle it or who could explain it, who could tell us what we needed to do. We knew it wasn't me. I was not an expert in that area.
Right.
Wasn't you, wasn't Norm, wasn't it. It had to be someone specific who had studied specifically that virus. Call them virologists or whatever you want, epidemiologists, but there was a name for it.
Right.
See, we went through something so serious that we forget we need somebody as an expert with the expertise to help us get through the cobwebs that been, post-traumatic slave syndrome. So once we understand that, then we will love each other better. We will know that when I'm looking at you, one of my segments some months back, I had advised my villagers, I call them, to meet each other even where you know each other or not. If you don't know the name, just look at us and say, hi queen or hi king.
Right.
Because quite frankly, when we were brought here as slaves, we were not slaves.
Right.
We were brought from the best of the best. We may have been kings, we may have been queens, we may have been royalty. So since we don't know where we fit in that thing, and all we see now is people less than in education and wealth and health, we got to assume that may be just looking at kings, royalty, queen, or we were the scientists. We created a lot of different things. Even after we got here in slavery, we invented a lot of things. So that's how we're going to have to begin to look at each other to bring the love back. Because until we get the love back, and I think one thing that crazy man up there in the White has done, he has forced us to look back at ourselves, or we're going to need to get together again.
Yes.
Get through this mess. So there may be some good he got coming out of that. But to the extent that we need to know that there's a, as I said earlier, somehow we manage always to make it through. Could be the melanin in our skin. They say, some people say that we have that where other people don't. It has to be something. Because there's no other people I do not believe could have gone through and still going through what we've gone through. And survive. Not only survive, but thrive.
Yes.
See, we don't just survive. We do what you're doing. You know, you're a young lady that's just thriving. You go through different iterations of stuff, but you come out on the winning end. You know, and that is reflective, right? God is always on our side.
Absolutely.
And I'm not suggesting he's not on anybody else's side. All I'm saying, I know he's on our side.
Correct.
We wouldn't be here if we weren't. But so I'm so glad. But what I said all that to say, I've got 3 different segments. I got what you call information for us, and I bring in information from other folk so we can get the history that we might not get in the library, or we might not get in the schools anymore, or we might not, And then, of course, I have the young people who are on vacation now. The third area of my podcast is news from Africa. So this young man he is all that in the bag of chips. His name is Abraham Torre. He's the head of the country, Burkina Faso. Yeah, he head of that African country, but he's doing some terrific stuff there. So since we may need to rethink what we're going to do over these next 4 years or more, we have options. There are places in Africa that are welcoming us. Not that I intend to go there. I still will have my citizenship here.
Get a dual
but
citizenship?
if dual citizenship, Ghana has always offered us dual citizenship. They're doing great thing.
Really?
Yeah, and this new man that I'm going to show you, he's doing great things, and I just pray we got to keep in prayer that nothing happens to him. Because you know what happened always to Africa. But we just got to pray that this time it don't. But Norm, if you want to bring up a first information, we will do that. And I'm doing it purposely. I'm sorry.
Is that the captain?
No. That's not the African. That's the first one. Just information purpose. Yeah.
You've been lied to. Elvis didn't invent rock and roll. And that twang in country music? That's black, too. Let's talk about the music industry's best-kept secret. Let's rewind to the Deep South, early 1900s. Black folks were out here turning pain into poetry. Gospel in church, blues on the porch, field hollers in the cotton fields. Jazz? That was us in New Orleans, turning brass instruments into a party. Think Louis Armstrong blowing the roof off before radio even had rhythm. Blues? That's Delta-born. Robert Johnson supposedly sold his soul at the crossroads just to play like that. Then along came rock and roll. And guess what? It didn't start with Elvis. It started with Sister Rosetta Tharpe, black woman, electric guitar, killing stages in heels while white folks were still trying to find the beat. And country? Yep, black string bands. The banjo? African. Even Hank Williams learned from black musicians. That southern drawl didn't start with cowboys. It came from sharecroppers. But as the music got hot, labels got shady. They swapped faces. White artists covered black songs, made millions. Meanwhile, the originators got crumbs. So now that you know who really built American music, who's your favorite underrated black music legend? Drop it in the comments. Let's give them their flowers. You've been lied to. Elvis didn't invent...
See, those are the kind of misconceptions that we have about ourselves, and particularly other folks have about us. And I brought to mind Beyonce, when she came out with that country music, she had some flackback from different ones. Well, why are you going into our, music? And they didn't even know, so we can't blame them. They don't know history either. And many of us didn't connect it, I mean, I've always known because I've always followed the history that was given to me. But when we listen at country music or any music, that is something that we created. And once we begin to understand that without being braggadocious, that has nothing to do with that, just being factual.
Right.
Know who you are, and you know who you are, you can do more.
Right.
In spite of your circumstances.
Correct.
You begin to make moves, take chances because you got the history behind your back that I've done that, I've been there.
Right.
And the other stuff that people are trying to put on me is just not true.
Correct.
So I bring those kinds of little tidbits on so we can be very clear as to who we are. Now, I was going to ask you, too, about getting back to your book, because I'm very interested in how you did that so you can encourage young people. How long did it take you to do that, or how did it come about?
Right. Well, it came about again because my daughter and her friends, when they were in high school, my house was kind of like the house everyone could come to and feel safe.
Okay.
So they were cheerleaders and basketball players and things like that. So they would always congregate at our home, and everybody would order pizza. I was like, I can't wait till they get jobs, because I would have to order like 5 or 6, 7
you
boxes
did
of
that
pizza.
with us in that podcast we had.
Yeah. So I was like, let me order some pizza. They felt safe there. They watched movies. They just came after games. So I said, well, you know what? Everybody's not as fortunate as our kids may be. There's people in, shelters. There are people in the homes for the kids that are teenagers. So what about them? How do they learn life skills? Who's looking after them? Who's bringing them pizza where they could congregate somewhere safe? So that's what made me come up with the life skills guides for teens and young adults.
Right.
So it was technically all of them that came to the house all the time that inspired me to write it. Now, everybody who knows me know I'm not technical.
Okay.
Not a technical person. So
neither am I.
Me, when I type, even when I text, I'd rather call you. After 3 texts, I'm like, I'm calling you. I ain't going to answer you no more.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to call me. So I typed with one finger. Because, again, I didn't know it was a system out there that you could talk into it in the text for you, right? Monique ain't know that. So what I did was type the whole book with one hand.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't take me long, though, because I could type with one hand pretty good. I mastered it, but then I became alongside another publishing company who would help you self-publish.
Right.
So I had to write the manuscript, write the outline, the format, and everything, give it to them, and then they went through it for me to make sure everything was paraphrased correctly.
Right.
And, everything was in order. They input your pictures. Well, I had a photo shoot. I'm in the beauty industry, so we did a photo shoot at my house. I knew how to change different backgrounds to make it look like we were somewhere else.
Okay.
Again, my family's fabulous, as you know.
Yeah.
They come help with everything. So I called some cousins, and they all came over. They all had a different little segment that they were going to be in.
Okay.
We staged the pictures. We took the pictures. My girlfriend, actually, Tanya Seals, came.
Okay.
She was a photographer. She
All
was
right.
getting into photography. I did everybody's makeup and hair if they needed their hair done. They all came over and they got into the different parts of the house that I set up. And we took the pictures, and that's how we got the pictures, inspired by the kids. And then I had my manuscript and my whole book.
And now,
came
where
out.
can we pick up that book?
Actually, it's on Amazon still. It's on Barnes and Nobles.
Okay.
They had it on a whole bunch of platforms, but I think now
I guess
it's
wherever
mainly
you
on
get
those
books,
two.
you can reach
it's
out
mainly
to
on
it.
those two.
So
it's called the Life Skills Guide for Teens and Young Forgotten Pieces.
Forgotten Pieces.
The Life Skills Guide for Teens and Young Adults by Monique Danielle.
Yeah.
And they could find it on there and pick it up.
Now, you mentioned your granddaughter. Tell me a little bit about your daughter, your granddaughter,
Oh, my
and
grandson.
your new husband.
My grandson. Yeah.
Not new husband, your husband.
Yeah, Sham just had a baby. I had 2 grandkids already with Lisi. I have Jaleesa and I have Hayden. We call her Hattie Cakes. But I have them 2 already. So then Sham now has a baby.
Right.
And he's 6 months old.
Okay.
His name is Caden.
Caden, all
Just
right.
so much of a bundle of joy. He's just
I
so
bet.
sweet.
I bet.
Yeah, he's just so precious.
Sounds good. Sounds real
So,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. I understand. I have a new great grand.
Oh, yours
My
is a
grandson
great
hasn't
grand,
called
right.
me yet, so I wasn't going to even mention it since he didn't call
Well,
me.
guess what? Her birthday is on my birthday yesterday.
Oh, really?
She's August 17th, like me.
Isn't that now? That is interesting.
I
August
was like,
17th.
wow. When I saw it yesterday, I was like, it's my birthday. But guess what? My little cousin, baby, was just born on my birthday.
Isn't that it? Now, that's
So,
what
yeah.
that's something. That is really something. Norm, could I see my villagers? I know they wanted me to holler at them. I want to encourage them to keep coming on. Terry Benjamin, great program. I'm on board, ready for. Okay, Terry, Michelle, Sesame. I'm Ruby. All right. Sabor, Claude Cheney. Oh, my goodness. New person on. Rashida. Oh, thank you, baby. You always come. Robert Cabbage Stalk. Shalonda. Claude. Sheila Bird. I thought she was going to be here, Sheila. Lloyd Shivers, my son from North Carolina. Okay. Dina Robinson. Who is that?
Family. That might be the
Family.
person that's my mom.
Yeah, I know. That's your mom. She's a beautiful person.
You
That's
said
my
Sabor,
friend.
That's my husband. He's on
Yeah,
there.
so that was your husband. Okay, so glad that you all join us. I'm always come on and co-host. My co-host is here. She got to tell us about that traffic jam that she was
it
in.
was terrible.
I tell you. Yeah, I guess she was in a traffic jam too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome aboard, my co-host. This woman is
Yes,
she's
hi.
she's a what you call a butterfly. Social butterfly.
Social butterfly.
She just came off a vacation, not a vacation, a birthday celebration.
When was your birthday?
I guess did too. A
Actually,
birthday.
it was Wednesday.
You're a Leo gang in the building.
This is Miss Rose Moore, my
Yes.
co-host. Her children took her to a spa last Monday. Is why she wasn't co-hosting last Monday.
very good time. It was a very good time.
Tell us about it. And then I was at an affair with her this Saturday in Scotch Plain at the country club. This is a very historic country club. It was the first black country girl club in New Jersey. I don't know throughout the world, but in New Jersey. But it was beautiful. Enjoyed it.
And you left just a little too early.
You really?
Saxophone player.
Oh, I love saxophone.
He's going to be on.
Okay.
Beautiful. Did a tribute to me, a tribute to her father, my daughter's father, and it was just wonderful. He did beautiful black saxophone player from Plainfield.
Really? Well, we got to have him on.
I said, wow, Ruby just left.
Yeah. Well, this is my guest. I don't know if you know Monique.
She's very beautiful. How are you?
And she's an entrepreneur big time. So we've been talking about her events and her efforts, and she's an author.
Wow.
Wrote the book.
Forgotten Pieces.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And
indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And she's she has a salon. About how many? 6 salons.
Well, I had 5 salons.
5
but
salons.
I sold all those. Now we're just doing the Singleton Builders.
Yeah,
modular
and
home
she's a
builders.
builder.
Very.
Yeah, and then she's going to be a fellow podcaster.
Back here.
Very
And
good.
we're looking forward to that. I told you that she had one some years back when I was on with her, she and her daughter, and some other ones, and we've always been with Norm.
Yeah.
And I.
Always been with Norm.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be back here August the 28th, every Thursday from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. on BKS1 Radio TV.
Wow.
Come.
The place to be.
The place to be.
A place to be. That's so true.
Yes,
I was
yes.
excited. I was just so thrilled to have her on. I told her that she's always been my daughter by another
Yes,
mother.
yes.
And but in addition to that, she was such an inspiration when you think about what she's done and what she's still doing.
Yeah, and accomplishing
the young
that.
lady's still doing it, you know. She recently married. I was at the wedding. What was the wedding?
Congrats.
Well,
Congrats.
the wedding, thank you. Last year, we just had the 1-year anniversary, August 10th. We got married in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reception was there, but we had another one here because my Ruby, we have such a huge family
Yeah.
that we came back here and had another reception
Wow.
for everybody here.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it was so nice.
Yeah,
It was really nice.
yeah. Now she's a grandma.
Wow.
Well, she's
Wait, I'm a nana.
yeah, she's
A nana.
She's a 3-time
I
grandmother,
hear
but
you.
I know
I
she
hear
got a
you.
new
I hear you.
grandchild. That's what I meant to say.
Yes,
Yeah, she got
I hear you.
a new
And we
grand.
affectionately call we call her My Ruby. I gave you that name on
Yeah.
the show, the first show, so I call her My Ruby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
yeah.
I call her Ruby Doo.
Oh, Ruby do.
She's my Ruby Doo.
Been called a lot of things, but I'll leave it there.
You're intelligent, smart, inspirational, and I always have appreciated you for
Yes,
everything
yes.
Yeah.
that you've brought to my life,
Oh, thank
especially
you.
my cousin Kat when she was
Yeah.
here, which is
Yeah, I
was
miss
your
my
daughter-in-law
baby. Yeah.
was.
Mhm,
Yeah, she
miss
has
my
passed
baby.
on, but
Yeah,
my
yeah.
Ruby, I met her when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and she's always been such a great inspiration to my life, and she knows that.
And she's a
But I'm gonna say it
trailblazer.
now that
Hey,
yes,
thank
she
you,
is a
yeah.
trailblazer, entrepreneur.
All right, y'all better
She
stop. now.
never
This-
give up. My
Norm, this
Ruby
building is not
gonna
big
always
enough for where my head's gonna go.
Oh, no, you're humble
You
too,
deserve
Ruby.
it. You
yeah,
deserve
she's humble
everything.
too.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, this has just been more than just a blast. You got to come back
Okay. Thank
sometime
you.
because I know you keep doing what you're doing. And as I said before, the idea when I started this thing was for us to restore ourselves to our original self.
Yes.
And after this person came into the White House, I knew it was more than just about the restoration. Now we got to do what our great ancestor Joe Madison said, what you're going to do about the situation at hand.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's where we are always planning
Correct.
to stay ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't, you can look every day and no lie about it. We got a lot to be concerned about. No, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat that.
Right.
We have to be concerned about our young people now, particularly our young black men.
Yes.
They're just gunning for us, and we know that. So we're just going to have to be trying to be one step ahead of the game. And we know with God on our side, we really don't need to worry too much.
That's right.
Worry a little,
Right.
not too much, because
But
he's
be
gonna
wise and watchful, alert,
Absolutely.
and strategically planning.
and
All
strategically
the time.
planning.
Correct.
Okay. I think next week, if we are blessed and lucky, we're gonna have Sabrina and the crew
Michelle.
from SIT and Michelle
Yes.
on. Bless
I'm
her.
excited.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
I'm
The
excited to
month
meet
will
you.
go out with them on. I tried to bring podcasters on that norm overseas that show us that we're still moving and grooving and carrying on, and in spite of our dire situation that we're in.
Yes.
And what I want to say is I'm so pleased whenever you all tune in to me. And you can enjoy this program. And if I don't say that, my producer's going to say, boy, I thought I wrote this up for you. You can enjoy this program by listening to BKS1 Radio or Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or see them in person on Facebook or YouTube. You can bless this program, too, by sending a donation
Yes,
to Cash
indeed.
App, $Ruby Shivers, or Zelle, Ruby Shivers 158 at gmail.com.
Yes, support
appreciate
the work,
whatever you do.
support the
And
effort.
particularly
Yes.
appreciate you tuning in and listening, because that's the idea behind how we are going to get rescued from whatever situation we find ourselves in.
Yes.
Once we learn about ourselves, because that's what when I say they, you know what I mean, that's what we're afraid of. Knowing about ourselves, because once you know you the king, the queens, they're all, somebody going to treat you
It's gonna be
different.
a situation.
Okay, my villagers, thank you all, and bye-bye. Take care. See you Monday.
See, you late, you forgot everything.
Thank you. Thank you.